know that feeling, right? When you use ChatGPT, you ask it something complicated, and boom, out comes this perfectly written, coherent answer. It's kind of like magic. Seriously, it feels like you're chatting with some super intelligent robot from the future. But how does it actually do that? I mean, what's really happening behind the screen? All right, let's pull back that curtain and really dig into the mechanics of what makes this thing tick. For most of us, it's basically this magic black box, right? You put a question in, a crazy good answer comes out. Well, today we're going to pry that box open. We're going to take a look inside. And this is probably the single most important thing to get right from the get-go. ChatGPT isn't thinking. No, it's not sitting there pondering your question or reasoning about life. It's doing something that's, in a way, much simpler, but on a scale that is just mind-boggling. It's predicting. Okay, so if it's predicting, how in the world did it get so good at it? Well, it all comes down to a giant, high-stakes guessing game. I mean, just picture the biggest game of fill-in-the-blank you can possibly imagine. See, at its heart, ChatGPT is what we call a large language model, or an LLM for short. And you can just think of it like this. It's an AI that has devoured a truly insane amount of text. We're talking millions of books, articles, pretty much the entire internet. But here's the kicker. It didn't read all that stuff to understand it. It read it to find patterns, statistical patterns in how we humans string words together. And the way it's trained is honestly beautifully simple. The model gets shown part of a sentence and its only job, its entire job, is to guess the next word. If it's wrong, it tweaks its internal wiring a tiny bit and tries again. Now, here's the crazy part. Imagine doing that billions and billions of times. That's it. That's how it gets so unbelievably good at this. So for example, if the model sees the phrase, the sun rises in the, it's not using logic to figure out the answer is east. Nope, it's just seen over and over and over again in the text it was trained on that the word east has the highest probability of coming next. It's all about statistics. It has built this insanely complex web of which words are likely to follow other words. Okay, so it's a giant guessing game. Got it. But what's actually doing the guessing? What does the brain of this thing look like? Let's peek inside that neural network. So what you'd find inside is something called a neural network. And honestly, the best way to picture it is like a gigantic, intricate spider web. And at every single connection point in that web, there's a tiny little switch. We call these parameters. Every time the model makes a guess, right or wrong, it adjusts these billions of switches just a little bit. The more switches or parameters you have, the more complex the patterns it can learn. But for a long, long time, AI had a huge problem. It was terrible at understanding context. That all changed with this one revolutionary piece of tech, the real secret sauce. It's called a transformer. And this is the magic ingredient that lets the model see how words in a sentence relate to each other, not just what comes next. Okay, look at this sentence right here. The dog chased the ball because it was fast. Now you and I know that it refers to the dog, but how does an AI know? Well, that's the transformer's job. It can look at the whole sentence and figure out that the word dog is way more important to the word it than the word ball is. This ability to understand context, that was the game changer. That's what made all of this possible. So when you put it all together, here's what happens when you type a prompt. Your words get broken down. The model looks at the pattern. It consults that giant web with its billions of switches, and then it predicts the most likely next piece of a word, then the next, and the next. It's happening thousands of times a second. It really is just super-powered autocomplete on a whole other level. And listen, this tech is not standing still for a second. It's moving and evolving at a speed that's just staggering. What we have right now is just a snapshot. This whole field is in constant, rapid-fire motion. So what's next? What's just around the corner? Well, first, they're becoming multimodal. That's a fancy word for being able to see and hear, not just process text. Their memories, what we call the context window, are getting way bigger so you can have longer, more detailed conversations. There's a huge push to cut down on mistakes, when the AI just makes stuff up. And maybe most importantly for us, the models are getting smaller and faster so they can run right on your phone without needing a giant server. Now, all of this, it leads us to a really big, really important question. With all this power and the fact that it sounds so human, does it actually understand any of what it's saying? I mean, is it conscious?
And here's the bottom line, the thing we really have to remember. Yes, it understands patterns and language. And yes, it can create text that feels incredibly human. But it does not have feelings. It does not have consciousness. It has no memories or real-world experiences. It's like an incredibly sophisticated mirror, reflecting all the human language it's ever seen. But there's nobody looking back at you from the other side.
But even just as a tool, wow, its impact is huge. It's already changing education, right? Explaining tough subjects in a way anyone can get. It's helping programmers code and debug like never before. It's an amazing brainstorming partner, a near instant translator, a way to automate boring office work. I mean, it's fundamentally reshaping how we do our jobs and how we learn new things. So, look, if you walk away with just one single thing from all this, let it be this. ChatGPT is an amazing, incredibly advanced tool that does one thing. It predicts the most likely next word. That's it. It's all based on the patterns it found in all the text it read. It's a pattern matching machine, not a conscious being. And that kind of leaves us with one last really big thought, doesn't it? We have built this unbelievably powerful tool that can imitate human conversation almost perfectly. So the question we all have to face now is, how do we use it wisely? Where are the boundaries? It's an incredible tool, for sure, but where do we draw the line?